how's it going? This is Rory from ratemyfuneral.com. That was rate, by the way. So welcome along to a new tutorial. This is unlike one that I've ever done before. This is going to be a low poly tutorial. This is all super fashionable and all of that. And to be fair, I've not really ever done much with low poly stuff. But I had a job where I needed to create a stylish, interesting looking map for one of my systems. And I decided rather than just having a standard boring looking map, I'd have something that looked a bit nifty, and I found that the low poly looked pretty cool. So I kind of did this. So I thought, you know what, this is quite interesting, let's do a tutorial out of it. It's fairly straightforward, fairly simple, maybe one or two little techniques in there that you might find useful. So we'll give it a go. Yeah, so let me just get rid of that and let's hop into Cinema, which is here, and let's begin. Right, what do I want to do? The first thing is we need something to go by, or I should say, I suppose, there are a ton of low poly tutorials already out there, and like I say, just because I've never done it before, I fancy doing one. So this is just my way I've chosen to do this. There are other ways, and etc, etc. You know what it is. So anyway, overview, I'm going to choose I want the front because I want it kind of facing forward. So I'm going to use the front view here, and I'm going to go into display, options, configure, and then back. And that way I can choose an image to go on the backdrop. So I have screenshotted just an image from Google, which is this image of the UK and Ireland. And this is what I'm going to base it on. So I'm just going to grab this and drag that into image. Grand. Now the default size 800 across, that's actually quite small. If we just go back to our main view and create a cube, that's the size of that. So well actually, do you know what, no, that's probably about right, looking at it. So no, let's go with that. Maybe I'll tell you what, let's go back to options, configure, or shift V if you want to use the shortcut. Let's keep the aspect ratio but put it up to 1000. There we go, then that's a little bit more even. On the X anyway. So right, and now I am simply going to create a polygon all the way around here. Now the easiest way to do this is using the Polygon Pen, which is not available in some of the earlier versions, so you may have to use splines, but for this I want to use that. So easiest way to find the Polygon Pen, if you don't know the shortcodes and all that, is press Shift and C and then just enter in poly, and you will then see there, look, Polygon Pen, so we can now grab it. And we can also see that it's M and E to get that up. So if I actually click away from that and press M, E, now I've got the Polygon Pen. So that's a nice tip. We've got a bunch of settings here. I'm just going to leave them all as default because this is going to be really simple. So let's just zoom in and check this out. Look, I'm going to be using the numbers keys to move around. So one moves us around like this, and then the mouse wheel will zoom us in and out, and that's all I need for this. So like I say, really simple. I don't want too much detail. I am literally just going to click along the sides, maybe put a little bit of something here, there, and everywhere. So just something like this. Now this is one of those things that's obviously tremendous fun to watch. It's actually probably more fun for you to watch it than it is for me to do it, I would say. How much detail do we want around Scotland? Do we want all of this bit? I suppose I should really include it, you know, because if that's somebody's home, I'm just sort of laughing off somebody's home there. It's just really important to kind of remember that I don't want this too detailed. I want it to be relatively simple and plain, for whatever reason. So let's just keep doing that. I'm going too fast there. Let me just undo some of them. I don't want that quite as big as that. There we go. And it takes a little bit of self-restraint when you're doing stuff like this. It's kind of like if you're using the pen tool in Photoshop, or even the spline tool in Cinema, is not going nuts with the amount of points you place. Just, doing enough that is what you need, but not so many you end up with a shared load of stuff to work with if you need to make any alterations or anything. So we'll just keep this going. We've reached Cardiff, that's pretty cool. Let's go around via Truro. I will point out my geography is not the best. I would say that I know very little when it comes to location and geography. My geography lessons were essentially the existence of Oxbow Lakes, and that was pretty much all we covered. And in all fairness, I couldn't even tell you what that meant. I mean, you lot will all be shouting at the screen because everybody knows what an Oxbow Lake is, but I can't even remember that. To be fair, I spent most of my geography lessons watching people jumping out of the window, running round the building, and then coming back in and pretending that they were late, even though they'd already been signed in on the register. Obviously, hugely childish, but quite amusing. So, we've nearly done a trip around England and Scotland and Wales. So we're just going to go up by Edinburgh, where we're going to take a lot of care. So, and up for Aberdeen. You know what I should have done? I should have done accents as I was going around and see what accents I could successfully pull off as I went round. But then in hindsight, I think perhaps I probably shouldn't. But we have got all the way around. So we'll click on the first one and bang, there we go. We now have one big polygon. If we just go to this view here, we will see that's there. And to be fair, I think I've actually done, maybe I've done too many points. There's actually probably a bit too much detail there. Let's just see how we get on. Again, like I say, I would have preferred to have done less. Let's carry on. We'll do Northern and Southern Ireland. I'm going to try and go back to what I was saying, where I am literally just kind of, this is kind of more what it should be. Like this. I don't know about anybody else, but I can't see a map of the UK and Ireland without seeing a koala bear and a kangaroo. And it is, though, isn't it? It's a koala bear and a kangaroo. Certainly a koala bear. That's perfect. Right. Let's get some of the little islands in. I don't want all of them, so I'm going to make this really, really simple. Boom, 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 boom. You don't want me sitting there saying boom with everything, do you? No, I don't blame you. Oops. Undo. Zoom in. We'll just do a little... Oops. Something there. Now, because we've got this polygon selected and we're still using the Polygon Pen, this is creating it all in the same one, which is absolutely perfect. It's exactly what I want. So that's kind of cool. We'll just do some little islands there. Do some of these dudes up the top here. Nice and simple. Might as well get the Isle of Man in. There we go. I am really thinking I might go around and just delete some of those points. Let's do the Isle of Wight as well. I don't really... the island one is about right. These one I've just done too much. So what was I saying? As I went round, I was saying this as well, wasn't I? So let's just have a real quick... Let's go through and we'll take out some. I mean, this is the beauty of the way we've done this, is that we can just delete some points. Don't want to delete everything. I want some detail there, but you know, bits like that can probably stay the same. There's far too many going on up here, so we'll get rid of that one. Let's just move that one out. Don't want to spend too much time making you watch me do this, if I'm honest, but I am just going to quickly go around and remove some of these. So maybe we'll just do that instead there. Let's be a bit ruthless. Do do boo biddy boo. Boom, ba-da-dum, ba-da-ba-dum. Let's get rid of that one. Ba-da-ba-dum, boom, ba-da-dum, ba-da-ba-dum, boom, ba-da-bum. Okay. So if you live in any of the places that I've actually missed, please feel free to moan at me in the comments. Genuinely, I won't even mind, because it's fair enough. You know, if I've been that, you know, ignorant that I've just left you off, I deserve it. If you want to have a moan at me in the comments about where you live on here, feel free. You know, where I live, I've managed to get in there. So, but to be fair, I'm quite inland, so it's kind of natural that was going to happen. This is annoying because it's really hard to be ruthless with stuff like this, because it's where do you draw the line? But it's like I say, it's just, you just don't want quite as much detail as you think you might. See, like that can go, that can definitely go. Don't need two there. Don't need two there. That can be one, big one, big one. That can go. Let's make that one. Make that one. Right, I reckon that's good. So that's a little bit trimmed up. I'm looking down here and I'm seeing things that I missed. Could have done that. Come on, Rory. That was a rubbish purge of the points that we don't need. Definitely do better. Look at all of these. But again, I don't want to make you sit here and watch it. Oh, right, okay, stop now before I get angry. I tell you what, I'm going to have a quick drink. Bear with me. That's better. Right. I think I am going to leave that there. I think that is perfectly, actually undo those, as the super nanny says, acceptable. That is perfectly acceptable. I don't know. Right, cool, so done it. And if we see over here, it's all of this sort of nonsense going on. What is next? Next, we are going to basically draw some triangles in there. Now, it's really important that we get triangles to get this to look the way we want it to look. So I am going to go into this one and go display, and I want Gured with lines. And then what we want to do, like I say, is press the points mode, press K, and that gives us our knife. Now we haven't got anything selected, so the restrict to selection shouldn't matter. But we're now just going to do some cuts from like various points across. So just like this for now. I don't want to make it too uniform, but let's just work up here for the minute, because basically we're going to turn this into triangles. So we can put there, 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 and there, and each one of those obviously is a triangle. We can do something like this. We don't want anything that's too even. Really, we don't want anything that's too long either. Ideally, we don't want anything that's too short. So I'm just going to keep basically going nuts. And I'll tell you what, ooh, let me undo that one. If you get something like that, it just means that you've cut in a strange way, and normally carry on cutting and it will resolve it. But we've got an interesting thing going on here. Let's see, we've got an extra point, so let me just undo. And basically where I cut across, and instead of getting it on the point I've missed, and I've done that. You want to really try hard to avoid them, because that will cause you all sorts of problems later on when you come to texturing and lighting and all of that sort of thing. So let me just do this, and what I'll do is I will even speed this section up now, because honestly I don't expect you to sit and watch me do this. So this will now go fast. Okay, so there you go. I have done all of that. Now, I'm sure there is probably a way to automate that somehow or another. Like I say, this was just how I did it. I don't know of a way to automate it. The time it would have taken me to work that out would have probably taken me longer than just to do it. So I just did it. So anyway, this is there, and it's all basically, if I spot any like this, I need to do them. So K, knife, and turn that into triangles. Like I say, I've tried to avoid having any that aren't triangles, because like I say, that will cause me problems with my low poly style geometry later. Like here we go, I've just spotted some here. So we'll close that one off. And we'll just do something like that, and then that creates triangles. So I may have missed some. My eyes did start to go a little bit blurry during that, but look, there's one. And I may have even missed some that you were seeing, and you were going, oh, I can see one there, like right there in front of you right now. But this is the thing that happens. So looking over it, I can't see any more. So no, there's one. The thing with them is they'll probably stand out quite a lot at the point where I actually start doing anything with this. So let's see. Go back to the main view. That's kind of cool looking. Right. Let's name this as well. So let's go. We'll call this map. And I'm going to make a backup copy of it. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to make a copy by holding Control and clicking and dragging. Press Alt G to put it into a group. And then you can either call this hidden or backup or whatever you want to call it. And then if we hold down Alt and click on these two until they turn red, then that just gets rid of them. And then that way I've now got a backup of it at that state. And to be fair, I probably should have done that before I cut it up. But anyway, for this, it's fine. Okay, so the next thing that I now would do, or I did, was to select everything and just extrude it. So I don't know why I pressed for the loop selection tool. I didn't want that. I want to be on polygon mode, and I just want to select all. So there we go. We've selected everything. And I'm going to press D for extrude. And now there's a couple of things I want to check here. I've not got create caps enabled. So what this means is when I extrude this out like this, it will actually make it so it's hollow on the inside. And that, I have to admit, is kind of what I want, because I want to be able to access in here easily. Now you don't have to, you can turn on caps and then that will make it a solid lump, but I'm going to leave it just like that because that's exactly what I want. I'm going to go back to point mode and going to just grab in all of the points that are inside the map. I don't want to grab any points that are on the outside here. So let's see how we best do this. To be fair, again, I think I'm just going to press that one, hold shift, and I'm just going to click and drag around and just grab them all. Again, there may be a special technique that is superb and somehow knows not to grab any of the outside points, but for the length of time this is going to take me, I'm not going to try and find out right now. Okay, ba-bum. Grab them. You can make your radius bigger, so you can do that, and then you can grab stuff a little bit quicker. To be fair, this doesn't really take long anyway, so obviously now it's going to be a bit trickier to get into the ones on the inside, but we'll just get the bulk of them and then we'll shrink it back down and just pick up the rest. I've just spotted one that needs cutting as well. I'll leave it in. We'll see how it looks. It might be alright, but I don't know yet. Let's just shrink that back down to 10. And no, that one. Grab them. That one. That one. Okay. Oh, there. Is that all of that? All right. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. So holding Control, you can deselect them. I thought I'd pressed the 1 key in order to move the camera. So we'll just go around. We'll do all of this. Okay. Superb. Now that we've grabbed all of them, I am going to go up to select and do set selection. That'll just create a point selection tag so that if I want to grab these again easily, I can just use this tag to do it. Now I'm going to use a little thing to kind of randomize all these points. I could do it manually again, but there is a way to do this that I do know. Again, I'm going to press Shift and C, and I'm going to put in set point. And the one we're looking for here is set point value, which is ML. And I'll double click that. Now what we have here is a bunch of settings. And what we want to do is move these in the Z axis, sort of randomly about a bit. So what we can do is select crumple, and I think axial is the one we're going to want. And let's have an absolute guess at 25. And then if we hit apply, there we go. That's now moved all of them around. Now, to be fair, that's probably a bit more than I wanted. So I'm going to undo that and go for 15 and hit apply. And there we go. That's just moved them a bit. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, but the reason I only grabbed the edges is that way it keeps the shape. Because now I can go to my map and turn off this Fong tag, or I'll just delete the Fong tag. And there we can see we've created the kind of shape. Again, I think, do you know what? I think it's a bit much. So I'm going to undo, go right back. We can actually grab our point value mode from here. And let's just put that down to 10 and press go. And I'm going to delete the font tag again. And there we go. That's looking a little bit better. So, okay. Now, I'm going to do invert selection, and then that will grab basically all of the points around the edges this time. And I am just going to do the same thing again where I do this, but I'm going to do sort of 2 and then press go. Just, do you know what? Actually, let's do 5. There we go. Just so it does give it a bit of movement on those edges. There we go. So that's quite funky. See, we've got an issue here, and I believe that's probably going to be to do with, yeah, look, see? That's going to be to do with those. So I've got an extra point. Now, I don't know if I'll get away with this. If I just delete that, yeah, it causes us problems. So what we'll do is we'll move that one away a bit. Choose the knife and we'll just turn that into triangles, and we'll do the same for that one. Okay, and then now if I hit render on that, it hasn't got that strange edge. We've got one up here as well, and you can kind of see here that again it's the same problem. It's because we haven't, it's not a triangle. So that's now resolved that one, and that's how you can resolve these problems. I can see there's one there that needs doing, so that's fine. And now the lovely thing about this is you can actually go in and sort of grab any of these points and just move them around. So if you want to try and do some, you know, make the terrain a bit like it, you know, so some areas of Wales, you know, are pretty mountainy and stuff. Is that a word? I don't know. So you can do that. So that's grand. The next thing I do want to do is go into the points mode. And this has got just the front covered, so I'm going to do set selection on that as well. So set selection, and that gives me the front, and I want that for when I'm texturing. So let's get on to now making this look kind of cool. Let's start by doing this. We will do my old favorite, which is, oh, that's a bit large, isn't it? Doesn't need to be quite as extreme as that. Which is to place it into an Infidio Pro Studio. Now you can light it however you want. If you've got your own favorite lighting rig, then use that, or you can make your own lights or whatever. I'm just going to use Infidio because I like it, and I genuinely use this pretty much every day. So that's just placed that in there, and the next thing I want to do is put some textures onto it. So with the map highlighted so that it's just this lot here. I'll just use text. These are just the basic textures, so you can just create these if you want, if you don't have text. So green matte, I'm just going to place straight onto our selection, which will actually highlight. If you look in here, see the selection, the polygon selection is that one. That's the polygon selection. So it's just put it on those edges, and I also want another one, which I will use the orange for, which I'm just going to place on the map. And then I'm going to put it before that one, And then the reason I've done that is because I want it just to take these. Now what's happened is because I've got that selection highlighted, it's picked up the selection. So we'll just remove that out of there. And there we go, that's now picked up that. Right, so I'm just going to tweak these colors a little bit because they're a little bit nuts. So in the green, we're just going to pull that down a bit so it's not quite so vibrant. And for the orange, I actually want to make that a bit more of a brown color. There we go, perfect, done, nice and easy. Let's get a camera set up and position it straight. So we do that and that and that. There we go, and then let's just line that up just in front. Boom, 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 boom. And one of the things I like to do here is ensure we turn on ambient occlusion, and I want to put the maximum raise right up, so maybe about 800. Contrast, I want that quite contrasty, because I kind of like the look that that gives around these edges. I've still got an issue here though, which is bugging me. I'm just going to zoom in. Let's come out of the camera. Now, what's the problem here? I think, is it that just needs to be moved? Is it maybe, let's come out a little bit. There we go. That's not a 4, is it? No. No, so that seems okay. Right, all right, let's go back into our camera view and let's just hit go and see how that looks. Okay, so that's definitely a start. It's looking all right. That's kind of cool. So maybe if we want to just add a little bit more detail, we can sort of grab some of these, like pull that out a little bit, anywhere where it hasn't particularly picked up. You know, we could always just go around and just grab some random points and then go back to our set point value and sort of move them around 10, and that'll give us a slightly different look again, and so on and so forth. But you can play around with it until your heart's content and make it look groovy and funky, and that's pretty much all we're doing with it. So yeah, it's nice and simple. To be fair, this was a little bit longer. I thought this was going to be a much quicker one, to be honest, but no, that should get you started. So that's how to create a low poly map without infringing copyright laws. I think I'm all right if I'm just using it as a guide. I don't know, in all honesty. No offense caused. Anyway, so there you go. And as it's obviously the end of the tutorial, I do have to promote my wares a little bit. I'm sure you appreciate and understand that obviously I have the website. The more hits I get on this, you know, the better I get found, and I get more people, and then that will spur me on to make more stuff. The more comments I get will spur me on to make more stuff. I like trying to respond to everyone. I do. I don't always, but you know how it is there. So yeah, make sure you check out the site. There's a bunch of tutorials on there already. You can see a ton of tutorials there. There's also in the shop, it says shop, but a lot of the stuff in the shop is actually free. So you do have all my, you know, like the text that we use for the text. Obviously, I only use the basic one, so it doesn't really show off that. But you've also got the InVideo, the lighting studio, and you've got various bundles. But there's loads of free stuff. And I have a really cool free model coming any minute now. It's ready, it's basically done. I just need to put it on the site for you guys to get, and it's a really good model. I'm really pleased with it. So make sure you keep your eye on that. And yeah, so I'll see you again, and have a good one. Bye for now.